Hello, everyone, and welcome. Tonight I will be joined by Alycia Mondavi. We're going to chat about Collective Napa Valley, which is Napa Vintner's latest philanthropy initiative. So super excited to learn more. We should have some fun conversation, and I'm excited to chat with Alycia. You don't get more Napa than the Mondavi family, so this should be a really, really fun discussion. Here she is. Perfect.
Hi.
Hi, how are you?
I'm well. How are you, Paige?
Good.
I'm excited to be here and talk everything Collective Napa Valley and answer any questions you might have. And of course, if I don't have an answer for you off the top of my head, which I hope I do, I'll be happy to circle back around with that information for you as well.
Perfect. I'm excited to talk, and that fireplace behind you looks so cozy.
It actually is quite comfortable, and we've been blessed with some amazing weather this week, and actually the last few weeks. But we are needing the rain for sure.
Yeah, that seems to be the trend of conversation right now. Is it rained hard and fast in like November, December, but we need more.
Exactly. So, anyways, well, where would you like to dive in, and what would you like to know?
Let's start with a brief introduction of who you are. I mean, most people probably know the Mondavi name, but just kind of like how you're involved in the Napa Collective, and also a little background about who you are and what you currently are working on.
Okay, so I am Alycia Mondavi, fourth generation of the Mondavi family. My family started in the wine industry over 100 years ago, so we are very well versed in all of Napa Valley. My family is rooted pretty deeply in the wine industry, obviously. But my sisters and I always joke and like to say wine's in our blood. We were basically bottle fed it. We enjoy it through and through, and it's truly is something that we are very passionate about. And the one thing that I'm very excited about is the philanthropic level of our industry as well. And most people don't realize how generous our community is, and all the steps that are taken and have been taken over the years, and which leads us to the Collective Napa Valley. And I'm actually one of four sisters, so my other sisters are also pretty deep into Napa Valley Vintners as well. We did have the honor of chairing Auction Napa Valley in 2018. So we have a little bit different insider perspective into how auction used to be and where we are going with the future of Collective Napa Valley, which is exciting, and it's change that is needed and very, very much welcomed as well.
That is a perfect introduction. So then, do you want to give us a brief overview of what Collective Napa Valley is?
Yeah, so in summary, and without getting too complicated, Collective Napa Valley was an opportunity for us Napa Valley Vintners and the Vintners as collective members to come together, reimagine Auction Napa Valley. Times have changed drastically, especially with COVID, and we were granted lots of hurdles, and as a community, we were able to come together and kind of rethink how things have changed over the years, the areas that we were lacking and where we could really excel, and also offer different perspectives and different access to our community, all for the greater good and fundraising on a larger level. Auction Napa Valley was actually around for 40 years. And in that 40-year span, we've managed to raise as a community over $200 million, which on an annual basis, that does affect and help about 100,000 individuals every year. And it's all around children's education and health as well. And so the goal with Collective Napa Valley was actually to make it a lot more accessible. We were graced with virtual tastings and experiences with COVID, one of the silver linings that came through. So we do have elements that are a lot more inclusive, readily available to the general public, and anywhere from your rudimentary educational levels all the way up to your very exclusive experiences for those that truly geek out in collecting wine and want the once in a lifetime experiences as well. And there's various membership levels to gain access to those opportunities. But more importantly, we do have a complimentary level that allows anybody and anyone from all over the world to tap in to an experience on a virtual level. A lot of the opportunities that are being offered throughout the year with Collective Napa Valley.
Yeah, I think that's what excites me so much about this new initiative. It's that I've heard so many great stories about Auction Napa Valley, but it always felt a little bit unapproachable for someone like at my current stage in life. And Collective Napa Valley really seems to have something for everybody, including the free level. But I mean, at some point, there's different levels. I mean, it's so easy to contribute in some way and know that you're getting a really cool experience, even if it's virtual. Like, you don't have to fly all the way to Napa to be involved. You can just sit on your computer, tune in, learn something, and know that like your dollar in donation is also making a difference.
Exactly. And the beautiful thing about Collective Napa Valley is we did not eliminate or dissolve the favorites of Auction Napa Valley, the favorite components and the favorite events that are so cherished in our industry and brings a lot of individuals into the community. And that's our first barrel auction, which is still going to take place in June. And then the auction itself is we will have a fall celebration and an auction, a live auction on a more intimate level, given the number of bodies we're allowed to put in a room. So we were kind of forced to pivot a bit. But so the auction itself is going to be on a smaller scale. However, and that's going to take place in November. However, we have all these new initiatives and experiences that are going to be offered throughout the entire year, so that the fundraising and the event itself is not over one singular weekend. We are now breaking it up. As I mentioned, we've got a spring offering, and they're doing for depending on your donation level and your membership level, you'll get access to various opportunities that are going to be offered throughout the year. But we will have the opportunity to jump in virtually to some of the kickoff celebratory events in March. And then again, you'll have virtual opportunities in June, and then again in November, and then throughout the year, all the vintners get the opportunity to offer and curate special experiences that anybody will have the opportunity to buy in or purchase tickets to attend as well. But there are the various membership levels to kind of carve that out based on your choosing. And as I mentioned, complimentary all the way up to as much as your heart desires to donate.
And it's tax deductible because it's a donation, right?
Yeah, and that is all dependent on what benefits you decide to opt in for and select, and then otherwise it would be 100% tax deductible also.
So what does your donation go to raise money for? Like, I'd love to hear more about those causes that you guys select as part of the Napa Vintners.
Yeah, so instead of, as I mentioned, focusing onto one singular weekend, the fundraising endeavor is going to take place across the entire year on an annual basis. So we're not focusing on three main events or two main events on a singular weekend. We can produce as many. The boundaries are limitless in what we can do, and that's what's unique about this new imagined endeavor. But the money goes towards children's education and health. We have more beneficiaries than I can actually name off. But as I mentioned, over that 40-year period, we have been able to raise over $200 million to give back to the community. And with this now Collective Napa Valley being spread out over an annual basis, we can continue that fundraising over the year. And all of the money will go back to our community for children's education and health as well. So
that's incredible. That $200 million, that's so cool.
It definitely takes a team, and the Napa Valley Vintners and the Vintner members that encompass and have made it possible over the years is there's words cannot even begin to explain how everybody comes together as a community, and just to just to lift up our community and make sure that we're raising money for a good cause, and I'm fortunate that we're part of it.
Yeah, that's so cool. So how can people get involved? Where should they go? What should they do to learn more?
Yeah. Just to make sure I wrote it down. The exact URL is going to be collectivenapavalley.org. So there, on that page, you'll get the opportunity, as I mentioned, to join the mailing list. They've done a beautiful job of designing the website, so it's very user friendly. You can dive in on a deeper level as to experiences that will be offered at each membership level. You can join at the complimentary level, so you'll receive email notifications and updates about what experiences will be offered throughout the year. I've got examples of experiences, but the experiences are continuing to roll in as we speak. But they are anywhere from, as I mentioned, educational, talk about if you want to learn everything about sparkling wines and domestic sparkling wines in our neighborhood, you can learn that in our valley, I should say. If you want to focus on rosés or even actually better yet, being a female-owned winery with my three sisters, we own a Loft and Dark Matter Wines. There are opportunities and an experience that's being worked on and developed as we speak for women winemakers. And if you have a female winemaker or wish to learn everything about women in the industry in Napa Valley, you'll get the opportunity to sit down, dine with them, purchase some of their wines, all the way to if you special unique dinner experiences for larger groups and private performances and stuff like that. And then of course we have our educational levels as well, where we can talk Napa Valley rosés all day long. Anything and everything you can think of, the organization has been really cognizant of making sure that we can supply and provide opportunities across the board. As I mentioned, we're trying to be all inclusive, and then also expand our bandwidth on a global level. And having the virtual capability allows us to do that.
Yeah. So things like learning about rosé, that could be a virtual event then, so you could do it no matter where you are.
Correct. And there will be buy ticket opportunities to buy in. Each event is priced accordingly to what the experience is. And then with your initial membership contributions, that opens up access to purchase tickets. For example, your $1,000 level contribution invites you and gives you the ability to purchase 2 tickets to the Futures Barrel Auction in June. Otherwise, you don't receive the invite to attend. And then there's the $5,000 level gives you 4 tickets to that Futures Barrel Auction. Those are just, obviously, that's one example, and it keeps going up with every level. And then on the complimentary level, they have we have our community celebration in June that everybody virtually will have access to. We have tasting to kick off the celebratory Collective Napa Valley in March. That will be accessible virtually as well. And for whatever level you choose to select, you will receive access to certain events. And then you can even cherry pick if there's an event that you've always dreamt of attending that we happen to curate for you. You can always select and buy tickets at that level as well. And then with the sole goal that we raise as much money as possible for our community and for amazing causes.
It really sounds like a choose your own adventure type situation. Like you can really curate it to your own interests and budget.
Yeah, and you could donate up to the 100,000 level and have access to everything. If your heart desires to donate more, you can do that. And then, like I said, the complimentary level is truly a way to make it more inclusive, educational, and inform people of what we have to offer in our community and the causes that we're raising money for as well.
Perfect. I think that really covers the questions I had about it. Did you have anything else that you'd like to share?
I think, well, first of all, cheers to everyone. I should have done that in the beginning.
I did pour wine too. I wasn't sure. I was like,
Yep.
it's an Instagram live where we're in Napa talking about Napa things, so I probably should have wine. But cheers.
Definitely, please invite everyone to come visit the website. Again, it's collectivenapavalley.org, and you'll find it very beautifully laid out as to all the opportunities. And then please, 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 at least sign up for the complimentary level so you receive notifications and updates as to what's being offered and curated from a day-to-day basis.
Yeah, and I've also included that link in my bio for easy access for everybody. But yeah, it's been great getting the emails so far, and I'm excited to see what future things I want to sign up for and join. And everyone should just be part of it. It's going to be so much fun.
It really, truly will be. And as a next generation vintner, I'm excited to see a pivot and a change in a very fun, collaborative new direction. And it's I would say it's just the beginning, but they've already been doing it very well for the last 40 years. And we're hoping for at least 40 to 100 more.
Yes. Well, thank you so much for being a part of this and for sharing with us. And I'm excited to keep this conversation going.
Absolutely. Thank you again, Paige, for having me. I do appreciate it. I look forward to meeting you and having you over here for dinner.
Yes, I would love that.
So thank you, too.
Yeah, have a great evening.
You too.
Bye.